They ignored you. Good. That silence you heard, that wasn't rejection, that was selection. The universe just filtered out everyone who didn't deserve to witness your rise. Listen to me carefully. While they were laughing, you should have been learning. While they were dismissing, you should have been studying their weaknesses. Every person who overlooked you just handed you the most dangerous advantage in existence. Invisibility. Machiavelli understood something most people never will. The prince who appears from nowhere is far more terrifying than the king everyone saw coming. You know why? Because you had time. Time to sharpen your mind while they dulled theirs with validation. Time to build your fortress while they built sandcastles of ego. Time to become dangerous while they became comfortable. Their ignorance was your training ground. Their dismissal was your permission slip to operate without their scrutiny, without their interference, without their mediocre opinions polluting your vision. So, let me ask you something. Are you still crying about being ignored, or are you finally ready to make them regret it? Drop a comment right now. Write, "I am the storm they didn't see coming." Before we move forward, do me a favor. Subscribe to Machiavellian Mind, because what's coming next, you're not going to want to miss a single move. Number 2, the Machiavellian principle. Power loves a vacuum. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Power doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about your feelings. Power moves into vacuums. And right now, while everyone else is begging for attention, you're about to create one. Machiavelli said it plainly, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But here's the part they always miss. Fear doesn't come from aggression. It comes from competence so absolute that people realize they can't compete. You don't need to announce your arrival. You need to become so undeniably excellent that your presence announces itself. They ignored you because you were playing their game, speaking their language, seeking their approval. That version of you. Kill it, bury it, never resurrect it. The new you operates on a different frequency entirely. You don't react to disrespect, you archive it. You don't argue with doubters. You document them. Every person who dismissed you gets a mental file. And one day, when you're standing on top of your empire, you'll remember exactly who said what. Not for revenge. Revenge is emotional, and emotions are expensive. No, you remember for clarity, for precision, so you know exactly who doesn't deserve access to the new kingdom you're building. Dark psychology teaches us this. People respect what they cannot control and fear what they cannot predict. So stop being predictable. Stop seeking validation. Stop explaining yourself to people who are never intelligent enough to understand you in the first place. Your silence should be deafening. Your progress should be undeniable. Your transformation should be so complete that when they finally notice you, they won't recognize you. Comment this phrase right now. I don't explain, I execute. Number 3, the strategy of shadows. Why invisibility is your greatest weapon. Let me tell you something about power that weak people will never understand. The most dangerous player in the room is the one nobody's watching. While they were busy performing for an audience, you were learning the rules of the game. While they were building their reputation on sand, you were laying steel foundations in silence. This is strategic invisibility. This is Machiavellian patience. And this is how empires are actually built. Every billionaire, every empire builder, every person who fundamentally changed the game started in a place of complete obscurity. They weren't ignored. They were incubating. They were developing. They were becoming lethal while everyone else was becoming loud. Here's the dark psychology principle they'll never tell you. People can only attack what they can see. They can only sabotage what they know about. They can only compete with what they understand. So give them nothing. Let them think you're harmless. Let them believe you're irrelevant. Let them sleep on you while you're actually building the infrastructure of dominance. Sun Tzu said, "All warfare is based on deception, and make no mistake, life is warfare, business is warfare, success is warfare. Every day you wake up, you're either conquering territory or losing it. There is no neutral ground. So while they're distracted by their own egos, you're taking territory. While they're celebrating small wins, you're engineering systematic victory. While they're worried about looking successful, you're actually becoming powerful. There's a massive difference. Success is what you show people. Power is what you possess when nobody's looking. One is a performance, the other is a foundation. You're not building a highlight reel anymore. You're building an empire. Drop this in the comments. Silent moves, loud results. Number 4, the revenge of competence. How mastery becomes your middle finger. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people lose the plot. They think revenge is about confrontation. They think it's about calling people out, exposing them, getting even in some dramatic showdown. That's amateur hour. That's emotional. That's weak. Real revenge is becoming so phenomenally competent at what you do that your existence becomes a daily reminder of their failure to recognize greatness when it stood right in front of them. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. The best way to destroy your enemies is to make them irrelevant. You don't fight them, you eclipse them. You rise so far above their level that they become background noise in your story. Let me break down what mastery actually does. It makes you immune to opinion. When you're undeniably excellent, people's doubt doesn't hurt you. It exposes their ignorance. When you're operating at a level most people can't even comprehend, their criticism becomes compliments from a different angle. Mastery is the ultimate form of psychological warfare because it requires no words, no arguments, no defense. Your work speaks, your results scream. Your transformation becomes undeniable evidence that they were wrong and you were inevitable. This is the dark psychology of excellence. Every skill you master is a weapon they can't take from you. Every hour you invest in yourself is compound interest on their regret. Every level you ascend makes their initial dismissal look more foolish in retrospect. So here's your mission. Become obsessed, not with them, with your craft. Become so focused on your development that you forget they even exist. Let your competence do what your words never could. Let your results be the revenge they never saw coming. Because here's the truth they'll never admit. They didn't ignore you because you weren't good enough. They ignored you because mediocre people are threatened by potential they know they'll never possess. Your job isn't to prove them wrong. Your job is to become so right that proof becomes redundant. Comment this now. My success is my revenge. Number 5, the psychology of detachment. Why caring less makes you untouchable. Here's where we separate the pretenders from the predators. Most people never achieve power because they're addicted to one thing. Other people's opinions. They need validation like oxygen. They need approval like food. They need recognition like water. And that dependency, that's their chains, that's their cage. That's exactly what keeps them weak. Stoicism teaches us that the only things you can control are your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. Everything else, noise, interference, distractions designed to pull you off course. Machiavelli took it further. He understood that emotional investment in outcomes you can't control is the fastest path to failure. So, let me give you the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. Stop caring what they think. Stop caring if they notice. Stop caring if they approve. Stop caring if they understand. Their opinions are not your currency. Their validation is not your oxygen. Their recognition is not your destination. The moment you detach from needing their approval is the moment you become dangerous. Because now you're operating from a place of internal power, not external validation. Now you're making decisions based on strategy, not emotion. Now you're playing chess while they're playing checkers with their feelings. Dark psychology reveals this pattern repeatedly. People who need nothing from you have all the power. People who want nothing from you cannot be manipulated. People who fear nothing about your opinion cannot be controlled. This is psychological immunity. This is emotional sovereignty. This is what it means to be untouchable. When they ignored you, they actually did you a favor. They taught you that their attention was never the prize. Self-respect was, self-mastery was, self-reliance was. Now you know the truth. You don't need their stage. You're building your own theater. You don't need their approval. You're creating your own standards. You don't need their recognition. You're becoming your own validation. And here's the beautiful irony. The moment you stop needing their attention is precisely when you'll have it. The moment you stop chasing their approval is when they'll start seeking yours. The moment you become emotionally untouchable is when you become magnetically powerful. Detachment isn't cold. It's strategic. It's intelligent. It's the armor of kings. Drop this in the comments. I am my own validation. Number 6, the empire mindset. Building something they can't ignore, touch, or destroy. Now we get to the heart of it. Everything up until this point has been preparation, mental fortification, psychological armor. But here's where theory meets execution. Here's where philosophy becomes empire. You're not just recovering from being ignored, you're architecting dominance. Let me explain what an empire actually is, because most people get this catastrophically wrong. An empire isn't just money. It isn't just status. It isn't just influence. An empire is a self-sustaining system of value creation that operates independently of any single person's opinion about you. It's infrastructure. It's legacy. It's something so solid, so real, so undeniable that it exists whether people acknowledge it or not. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince for people who wanted to be liked. He wrote it for people who wanted to be permanent, for people who understood that kingdoms built on popularity crumble with trends, but kingdoms built on power, strategy, and value endure for generations. So ask yourself, what are you building? Are you building a persona, or are you building an empire? Are you constructing an image, or are you creating infrastructure? Are you chasing viral moments, or are you engineering systematic dominance? Because here's the difference. Personas require maintenance. Empires require vision. Personas die when attention shifts. Empires compound when focus deepens. Personas are performative. Empires are productive. Your empire is whatever you build that generates value without your constant presence. It's the skills that make you irreplaceable. It's the systems that produce results while you sleep. It's the reputation built not on words but on relentless, undeniable output. It's the network of people who respect your competence, not your charisma. This is the dark psychology of legacy. People forget what you said. They forget how you made them feel, but they never forget what you built. They never forget the empire that rose while they were busy laughing. They never forget the kingdom that emerged from the shadows they created. So, here's your blueprint. Identify your domain, choose the territory you're going to conquer, and become absolutely obsessed with mastering it. Build in silence. Let your competitors talk. Let the doubters debate. You execute. Create systems, not moments. Stop chasing wins. Engineer processes that generate wins automatically. Compound relentlessly every day, every hour, every decision should add another brick to your fortress. Protect your energy. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Guard it like your life depends on it, because your empire does. And here's the part that makes this truly Machiavellian. While you're building, they're still talking. While you're stacking victories, they're still seeking validation. While you're engineering empire, they're still explaining themselves. 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, they're going to look up and realize you built something they can't diminish, can't dismiss, and definitely can't destroy. Comment right now, I build empires, not explanations. Number 7, the art of strategic patience. Why time is your secret ally. Let's talk about something that separates the conquerors from the conquered. Patience, but not the weak kind, not the passive kind. Not the kind where you sit around hoping things get better. I'm talking about strategic patience. Calculated patience. The kind of patience that's actually delayed aggression. The kind that's planning 5 moves ahead while everyone else is reacting to the last move. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. Fortune favors the bold, but victory favors the patient. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you don't understand timing, you'll execute brilliance at the wrong moment and call it failure. Here's what they don't tell you about empires. They're not built in days. They're not built in weeks. Real empires, the kind that last, the kind that matter, the kind that fundamentally alter reality, take years of invisible work before anyone notices a thing. And that's exactly where most people break. They want instant results. They want immediate recognition. They want the world to applaud their first step. And when that doesn't happen, they quit. They pivot. They chase the next shiny thing. They abandon the empire halfway built because nobody was watching the construction. That's exactly what separates you from them. You understand something they never will. The distance between where you are and where you're going is measured in disciplined days, not motivated moments. It's measured in consistent execution, not bursts of inspiration. It's measured in compound decisions, not dramatic gestures. Dark psychology teaches us this brutal truth. People's attention spans are short, but consequences are long. They'll forget you existed for 2 years while you were building, but they'll remember for 20 years what you built. So, use their amnesia, use their short-term thinking, use their need for instant gratification against them. While they're jumping from opportunity to opportunity, you're deepening roots in one domain. While they're celebrating small wins, you're engineering systematic victory. While they're worried about looking busy, you're actually becoming unstoppable. This is strategic patience in action. You don't react to their timelines. You don't compete on their schedule. You don't measure your progress by their milestones. You have your own clock, your own calendar, your own definition of what winning actually looks like. And here's the most powerful part. Every day they don't notice you is another day you get stronger without interference. Every week they underestimate you is another week you pull further ahead. Every month they ignore you is another month you compound advantages they don't even know exist. Sun Tzu said, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win." You're not rushing into battle unprepared. You're not announcing your intentions prematurely. You're winning in the dark, in the silence, in the space between their awareness and your execution. And when you finally emerge, when you finally reveal what you've been building, it won't be a fight. It'll be a coronation because you already won. They just didn't know the game was being played. Comment this phrase: I am patient because I am powerful. Number 8, the predator's awareness. Reading power, spotting weakness, playing the long game. Now we enter advanced territory. This is where good becomes great. This is where strategic becomes surgical. This is where you stop being a player and become the game itself. Machiavelli didn't just teach princes how to acquire power. He taught them how to read the room, how to identify threats before they materialize, how to spot weakness in armor before the battle even begins. This is predator awareness, and it's the difference between surviving and dominating. Here's what most people miss. Power isn't just about what you build. It's about what you perceive. The person who sees the game 5 moves ahead controls the present. The person who understands human psychology better than humans understand themselves holds all the cards. The person who can predict behavior, anticipate reactions, and engineer outcomes, that person is untouchable. Let me teach you what to look for. Watch how people treat others when there's nothing to gain. That tells you everything about their character and nothing about their performance. Watch who builds in silence and who announces every move. The loud ones are insecure. The silent ones are dangerous. Watch who needs constant validation and who operates with internal conviction. Validation seekers can be controlled. Conviction carriers cannot watch who quits when things get hard and who becomes more focused when obstacles appear. Quitters are predictable. Fighters are variables. This is dark psychology at its finest. When you understand what drives people, their fears, their desires, their insecurities, their ambitions, you can predict them. And when you can predict them, you can position yourself accordingly. You know who to avoid, you know who to align with, you know who's a threat and who's just noise. But here's where it gets truly Machiavellian. You never reveal what you see. You never announce your awareness. You never let people know you've categorized them, analyzed them, understood them completely. Because the moment they know you see through them is the moment they start playing a different game. Instead, you observe, you document, you file away information like a database running in the background of every interaction. You smile, you nod, you let them think you're not paying attention. Meanwhile, you're building a psychological map of everyone in your environment, understanding their leverage points, their breaking points, their value points. This isn't manipulation for manipulation's sake. This is strategic awareness. This is knowing the terrain before you march. This is understanding the players before you make your move. Because here's the truth. In the game of power, ignorance isn't bliss. It's suicide. Not knowing who's around you, what they want, what they're capable of, what threatens them, what motivates them. That's how empires fall. That's how kings get dethroned. That's how people who should have won end up losing to players they never saw coming. So sharpen your perception. Train yourself to see past words and into intentions. Train yourself to hear what's not being said. Train yourself to feel the energy shift before the betrayal happens. Develop the predator's instinct, always aware, always analyzing, always 3 steps ahead. And here's your competitive advantage. While they're lost in their own narratives, you're seeing the entire board. While they're playing checkers with their emotions, you're playing 3-dimensional chess with their psychology. While they're reacting to circumstances, you're creating them. This is what it means to operate from power, not force, not aggression. Power, the kind that comes from seeing clearly, thinking strategically, and moving deliberately. Drop this in the comments. I see everything. I reveal nothing. Number 9, the moment of emergence. When your empire finally breaks the surface, and now we arrive at the moment they never saw coming. The moment all that silent work, all that strategic patience, all that disciplined execution finally breaks through the surface. This is your emergence, this is your arrival. This is when the empire you built in the shadows steps into the light. And suddenly, everyone who ignored you can't look away. But here's what you need to understand about this moment. It's not about revenge. It's not about rubbing it in their faces. It's not about being petty or vindictive or proving something to people who never mattered in the first place. No, this moment is about something far more powerful. It's about validation, not their validation of you, your validation of yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing you kept your word to yourself. It's about proving to the only person who matters, you, that you're capable of exactly what you said you'd do. That you're not just a dreamer, you're an executive. You're not just ambitious, you're relentless. You're not just talented, you're inevitable. When your empire emerges, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. People who forgot your name suddenly remember it. People who wouldn't return your calls suddenly want meetings. People who laughed at your vision suddenly want to invest in it. And here's where your character gets tested. How you handle this moment reveals everything about whether your empire will last or crumble. Weak men become arrogant in success. They gloat. They boast. They make sure everyone knows they've arrived. And in doing so, they plant the seeds of their own destruction. Because arrogance makes you sloppy. Arrogance makes you blind. Arrogance makes you forget that the game never ends. It just changes levels. Strong men become more strategic in success. They understand that visibility brings vulnerability. They know that the higher you rise, the more people study you, copy you, target you. They recognize that emergence isn't the finish line, it's the starting line for an entirely different race. So when your moment comes, and it will come, remember Machiavelli's warning. It is much safer to be feared than loved when you cannot be both. But the truly untouchable, they're respected, not because they demand it, because they've earned it through undeniable competence, consistent character, and strategic restraint. Your emergence should be quiet thunder. Undeniable but not obnoxious, powerful but not performative, clear evidence of what happens when someone refuses to quit, refuses to break, refuses to compromise their vision for anyone's comfort. And to those who ignored you, you owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not a confrontation, not even acknowledgement. Your empire existing is statement enough. Your success breathing is proof enough. Your transformation standing is revenge enough. Because here's the final dark psychology truth. The best way to make someone regret underestimating you is to become someone they can't afford to lose access to. The best way to punish those who dismissed you is to build something so valuable they'll spend years trying to get back in your good graces. The best way to win is to make your existence essential and their opinion irrelevant. So when you emerge, emerge with grace. Emerge with strategy. Emerge with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they built something real, something lasting, something that doesn't need defense because it defends itself. Your empire is your answer. Your results are your resume. Your transformation is your testimony. Comment this now. They doubted. I delivered. Game over. Number 10. The final code. Stay hungry, stay hidden, stay dangerous. So, here we are. The end of the blueprint. But really, this is just the beginning of your real story. Everything I've told you, the strategy, the psychology, the Machiavellian principles, none of it means anything unless you do something with it. Knowledge without execution is just entertainment. Understanding without application is just philosophy. You didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to be transformed. So, let me leave you with the final code. The operating system that separates temporary success from permanent power. First, stay hungry. Never, and I mean never let success make you comfortable. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment decline begins. Empires fall not because they're conquered from outside, but because they rot from within, because the people who built them forgot what made them dangerous in the first place. Don't be that person. Stay obsessed, stay driven, stay relentlessly focused on the next level, the next move, the next conquest. Second, stay hidden. Even in success, protect your privacy, protect your strategies, protect your next moves. The more visible you become, the more valuable invisibility becomes. Let them see your results, never your methods. Let them witness your empire, never your blueprints. The magician never reveals the trick, and the strategist never broadcasts the plan. Remember, your competitive advantage lives in what they don't know about you. Third, stay dangerous. This is the most important one. Never become soft. Never become predictable. Never become someone who can be taken for granted. Maintain the edge that got you here. Keep sharpening your skills. Keep studying human nature. Keep evolving faster than they can adapt to you. The moment you stop being dangerous is the moment you become a target. Machiavelli's final lesson was this: the powerful are not those who achieve power once, but those who maintain it indefinitely. And maintenance requires the same hunger, the same strategy, the same ruthless self-discipline that acquisition did. So this is your path forward. Build your empire, protect your energy, master your craft, read the room. Stay 3 moves ahead, control your emotions, detach from outcomes, compound relentlessly, and never ever give them the satisfaction of seeing you break. They ignored you once. They will never get the chance again, not because you're loud, but because you're undeniable. Not because you're aggressive, but because you're inevitable. Not because you demanded attention, but because you commanded respect through sheer undeniable excellence. This is your time. This is your empire. This is your revenge. Now go build something they'll study for decades. Final comment. Drop this below. The empire rises, the legend begins. And if this resonated with you, if this lit something inside you that can't be extinguished, hit that like button, subscribe to Machiavellian Mind, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. We're building an army of the overlooked, the underestimated, the unstoppable. And you're exactly who we've been waiting for. Now go build, dominate.